Welcome, welcome. What up, everybody? I am Chef Chad Cherry. I'll be your host today. Off camera, we were just talking about Thanksgiving and just babies and kids and all kinds of other stuff, which is apropos for this recipe because this is something that is very, very kid-friendly. It's fun, it's quick, it's also healthy, and the best part is, this sucker cheap.
It is very cheap.
This
very
is
inexpensive.
Dine on a dime for real. I know they say if you go out and you try to feed a family of four, or even fast food, you're like, and we know it's like $35 right about now. That's even fast food. This is gonna be a meal for a family of four for $10 or maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah.
And we're gonna explain to you how we do it. But first, as I put on my next glove, I guess I should tell you what we're making, right?
Yes, and then I will say, I'll tell them one of the reasons why I really, really love this particular recipe, because like as a shoestring budget recipe. Yeah.
So if you look over at our ingredients, we've got our peppers and onions, we've got some portobello mushrooms, we've got some raw honey, ground turkey, some soy sauce, a little bit of pasta, right? Tricolor rotini, veggie pasta, I love this, and some lettuce, living lettuce. We're using bib lettuce. There's a couple things you can use. So if you see the lettuce, your mind is automatically gonna say, we must be making some kind of salad, right? We are not though. We are going to do Asian turkey lettuce cups. So if you've ever been to P.F. Chang's and you had the Asian chicken lettuce cups, this is our version using turkey, which is a little bit leaner, so you add in some health benefits. And we're making a sauce that's gonna be a little bit healthier than using the store-bought hoisin sauce, which I love, but it's full of sugar and it's got a lot of carbs and a lot of sodium. So we're cutting that out, but I'm gonna show you how to make a quick Asian sauce. You will love this. You can do it on anything. So hang out with me and let's jump right into this. As you know, I always talk about timing. When we set up our ingredients and our knives and everything, that's called mise en place, everything in its place. And I always repeat this stuff during lessons because I want you guys to I want to ingrain it into your thinking and not just into your lexicon as far as kitchen, but into how you operate when you move in the kitchen. So that being said, we always start with what takes the longest. In this dish, two things. It's going to be our pasta and it's going to be prepping up our vegetables. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some water on to boil, okay, while we get our veggies prepped, okay? So you can put, this is called a stock pot, right? You can put this on. We're going to give it just about maybe halfway, right? Water, okay? We're going to turn it on high because you want it to boil, and you're going to put a little bit of oil into your water. Now we're doing pasta. They always say salt your water, oil your water, right? In this case, we're just going to oil it. We're not going to salt it. Here's why. Salting the water doesn't make it boil faster, which you've heard that many times. Salting the water actually makes it boil hotter. It raises the temperature. We don't need that, and we also don't want the extra sodium in our dish because some of that will get into the food. So this time we're just gonna use oil just to make sure our pasta doesn't stick. We're gonna let that go. And that is all by itself, right? And I was tempted to sing that song that I'm not gonna do it. But you know, all by myself.
All by myself. That's terrible.
Yeah, okay, right. It is terrible, but we're having fun. So that is over here. Now we go to our veggies. We've got a couple of sets. Onions, we got some peppers, we have some portobello mushrooms. Those are the three veggies that we're working with for this dish. Now, there are many, many other vegetables you can add in. And as we prep it up, I'll tell you. First thing is onions. Anything round must be made flat. Golden rule, right? Safety first. That's what I always tell the kids when they run around doing dumb stuff. Safety first, okay? So what we have to do is we have to cut our butts off. And I know my people, I know y'all know this lesson. I always say, cut your butts off, okay? Now that we have two flat surfaces, to make the other side flat, we're just gonna cut it in half, okay? And start breathing out of your mouth, not your nose. Peel this whole outer layer right here. Let it go, let it go. Don't keep it. Lay them down flat, and then we're ready to work.
Awesome.
And I'm like this, we're ready.
I want to talk about this dish because I said I was going to say one of the reasons why I absolutely love this dish for as a shoestring budget dish, right? So I know that you've shown in classes before where when you have leftovers, depending on what kind of leftovers they are, you can put those leftovers together and make a soup.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can make a stock, or there's like different ways to flip like your leftovers.
Absolutely.
With this particular dish, I love it because if you have an extra onion, if you have an extra half of bell pepper, if you have squash or zucchini, if you have like a little bit of broccoli left, you can
go to work on this. This is so substitutable. Is that very substitutable?
I don't think so, but I think
what's wrong with it today?
I think versatile might be what you're looking for.
That's why I'm married.
Yes.
Okay.
Because of my vocabulary. I love it. So you can literally swap in, swap out. You can leave out the mushrooms if you want. Like we have done this dish with so many different types of vegetables, and it's amazing.
Chestnuts for crunch. And water chestnuts, you can buy them canned and they're already pre-sliced, and they're not nuts. They're actually a vegetable, but they're super crunchy. We've added in carrots many times.
We've done carrots, baby corn. Corn off the cob as well. So this dish,
like spinach.
Yeah,
like I've done a lot of different.
We've done a lot of variations.
Bean sprouts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so it is just one of those dishes where
it's just
if you have the ground turkey and you're gonna show them how to make a quick sauce, like you could put, and it's loaded with veggies.
And it's quick. And it's very quick, which gives us a chance to just talk about different things. I will mention real quick, I cut my onions. I'm cutting in 2 different ways. This first cut was a dice, and then I'm going to do slivers. For this recipe, slivers work on everything. So when you cut your onion in half and you lay it flat, if you're going to dice it, you would start and you cut lengthways, right? Cut lengthways. Then you turn it and you cut the short way. For slivers, you just cut the short way. And I know short way, long way, that's not technical terms, but what I try to do in the kitchen is I just want to give you the simplest explanation, right? Because I don't want to complicate everything. I always have to avoid being super chefy because it is just really easy to get super chefy. We're going to push those off to the side. Knife, you're going to have to move off my cutting board. Now we have green pepper, orange pepper, right? Prepping your peppers, same thing as with your onions. Cut your butts off, okay? So top, okay, and bottom.
So in one of our previous classes, we talked about how much you use onions and peppers.
Top, yep.
And I know you said, I don't believe that it was for this group. I think it was for a different group, but I know you said that adding onions and peppers just allows us to build flavor. So we're using these like healthy items like as a boost of flavor. So not only to get our vegetables, but to make sure that we're building flavor.
These are the components. Onions and peppers, I always talk about this. There's a thing called mirepoix, and it's the base of soups, stocks, sauces. It starts with onions and peppers. When you look at most seasonings, they've got dehydrated onions and peppers in them. It's because of the flavor that they bring to a dish. And I'll let you come back to your point. I just want to show that how we get out the seed core that's in the middle is you take the tip of your blade and you disconnect these little connectors here.
Normally on the cutting board, not holding it up in the air.
Yeah, don't do what I do.
Just for visual purposes, chef is showing you how it's done. But place it on your cutting board on a flat surface, and then so onions and peppers, because a lot of these classes, we want to make sure that folks walk away with the tools necessary we want to make sure that folks walk away with the tools necessary to be able to control what they're putting into their food, which is huge, because we need to know how much sodium, how much sugar, how much preservatives. So that's why a lot of experts recommend that we cook at home.
Yes.
Not only because it allows us to save money, and we are talking about shoestring budgets here. There is no shoestring budget for eating out.
No, there's not. And I will jump back in there too on the shoestring budget as I make slivers of these. And all I'm gonna do is cut these straight, right, to make slivers. And this, you don't hold normally, hold it however's comfortable. These are difficult. Just take your time. You don't have to rush with these. But onions and peppers, these are part of what we call pantry items, right? So there are some things that you should have in your pantry. Now, if you don't cook at home, you do not have a diesel pantry. My grandma had a diesel pantry. Okay? But as you start to
there's literally
more,
everything in there. I have been trying to accomplish that in our house, and I just don't know how to get there, because like every time we like buy stuff, like we'll buy like beans or something, and
you think you buy a little extra.
I think I buy a little bit extra, but then
you end up using it.
We end up using it. I don't know how they ended up getting their pantries that stocked.
Because they could stretch $1, and that's what I was going to, right? Like, the more you cook, you're not going to use everything that you buy, so you start stacking things up. Onions and peppers are those kind of items. Whenever they're on sale, grab a couple extra. And then when you're going to cook a meal, you're cutting down your costs dramatically. Well, maybe not dramatically, but you're taking out dollars out of your costs because you didn't have to buy things like onions and peppers. And we're going to talk more about the pantry, especially in this meal. So.
Awesome. So in terms of the bell peppers and the onions, are these two of the items that always go into this dish? I know we said it's like really versatile, and we could put, like we're adding some mushrooms today along with the onions and peppers. Do you always put onions and peppers in this dish?
I always recommend onions and peppers. For this particular dish, I always recommend onions and peppers. Okay?
Awesome.
That is always something that I would go with. And I'm cutting the tops, but normally when I cut my onions and peppers, I do not cut my tops. I'll leave them so that later on when I'm cooking something else, I don't have to cut a new pepper. I can just go ahead and take those tops and use them in that dish. So this is a little cheat code for me to use.
I wonder
Chef
if
friend right there.
Are those bell peppers sweet? Is the orange one sweet?
I don't know. I don't think you want to try that one. It's going to taste very bell pepperish.
I like bell peppers.
Okay. All right. You can put some seasoning on them. Do something. Don't just eat the pepper. Okay. She just ate it, y'all. We'll be trying to talk.
It's good. It's actually sweet.
Okay. I think you're just hungry, but I love you anyway.
Highly possible.
I haven't fed her this morning, but we're gonna rectify that now. You see, our water's boiling. This is what you call. Can you see that outside of the steam? This is what you call a rolling boil, right? It's very active. That's the kind of boil you want before you put your pasta in. Now we're using tricolor rotini, garden rotini, veggie pasta. I'm gonna use the whole box. It's okay. You don't have to use the whole box. I have a family of 4, which means I kind of have to use the whole box. Okay.
And we're gonna munch on this pretty much all day.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna take this, and the first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna save my wooden spoon for later. We're gonna stir. As soon as you put your pasta into the water, you want to stir it so that it doesn't get stuck together. And we're going to let this work. This is going to be quick. However, I've got to move this to my back eye because it's time for us to start on our veggies so that we can get, keep our time going right.
So I want to give some alternatives here.
Okay, I like that.
If you don't want to use veggie pasta or like the rotini, because it is still pasta, you can use zucchini spirals.
Oh my gosh, those are great. You can use some couscous.
You can use some couscous. You can absolutely do some quinoa. Especially if you know how to do it right. So those are some other alternatives. Or you don't have to use the pasta at all with this dish. This is a lettuce wrap. And the lettuce wrap just by itself is amazing.
Because I'm thinking we started using the pasta when we started making this as a meal for the kids so it could be a whole meal and not just a snack.
Yeah.
We're trying to fill up the bellies.
Yep. and the carbs help with that. But
and the veggie pasta is a full serving of vegetables.
Right. But what I like to do for myself is in the lettuce wrap, when I make my lettuce wrap, I will put the mixture, the turkey mixture, and I will put a couple of spirals of rotini, so that I'm not actually eating rotini as a side.
Oh, so
I just add, I add like a couple of spirals into so that I still kind of get like that that sensation of being full, but I'm eating a whole lot less pasta. I'm not eating a full plate of pasta.
I see what you did there. I'm getting ready. Like I said, I've got to do my vegetables and my meat. We've got to do this at the same time for time's sake. I've got some portobello mushrooms. I have sliced ones, but I'm going to use the whole mushrooms, and I'm going to show you why this is important. In the meantime, my skillet's getting hot. As soon as we see this start to smoke, which is just about there, we're going to add in our veggies. All right? I love these little flexible cutting boards. Remember, always preheat your skillet, right? And then add in your vegetables. That's when you get that caramelization.
And you're using a vegetable spray, canola spray, non-stick vegetable oil spray.
And like I said, I was just waiting for it. It's just about hot. It's hot. I can see little puffs of smoke.
But you want it a little bit hotter. So let's talk.
A little bit. Let's get a little hotter.
So let's talk about where you shop, right? Mm-hmm. If we're shopping on a shoestring budget, do you recommend?
So on a shoestring budget, if it's one meal, I'll go to, I do a lot of Walmarts, I do Aldi's and Winn-Dixie. If I'm planning for the week and I'm on a shoestring budget, I'm gonna go to Publix for the BOGOs. I'm gonna slide over to Winn-Dixie. They have some incredible sales with their card. And then I'm gonna get all of my little stuff. I'm gonna get the rest of the little ingredients from Walmart. And that way, so I drove to 3 places, but I've saved.
Yeah.
And I don't mind going to 3 places.
And I mean, but that's one of the things that when we're talking about shoestring budgets, like that's one of the things that we need to point out, right? So you're going to get the best value if you're willing to do the work.
It's like couponing back in the day, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to do the work, now they have the apps, which is why I love Winn-Dixie. They got the bonus rewards.
So we'll actually look at we'll do
just looks pretty.
We'll do the circulars. We'll do the different kinds of apps.
I can jump on my apps and online, and I can see where's what now.
We also have an app. I use an app called Fetch Rewards that allows us to scan all of our grocery receipts. Mm-hmm. And if we buy, like, it gives you points. So if we buy a certain item, you'll get a different number of points for those items.
And seasonings is a little bit of our steak blend. So we have our own seasonings now, seasoningbox.com.
And if they want to, add their own seasonings, because our steak blend, none of our seasonings have a whole lot of sodium in it.
Nope.
And that is by design, because we really want
thyme, right?
Yeah, garlic, we really want the flavor without having to worry about the sodium. Yeah, it allows us to just be able to like season.
Yeah, and that's it. You want enough salt to taste, but salt is not the flavor.
Right.
It's the other stuff. That's why I mentioned like there's thyme, there's rosemary in there, a little bit of basil. It's stuff that is going to bring out the flavor of meat. However, it works really well on vegetables too.
So if they want to do this at home, are we talking garlic powder, onion powder?
Mm-hmm. A little bit. I use kosher salt or pink Himalayan salt.
Just a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. And then if you have the herbs, right? So thyme, rosemary tend to go really well in this dish. But if you just have some Italian seasoning, some oregano, some basil, drop that in there. Get the herbs in there. Really unlock it.
Yeah.
Can I show you these mushrooms?
Yeah.
I put them in a colander and I put them over a napkin. Normally I would do this over a garbage can, but I want to show you that you can just take the time and just shake, right? Really vigorously use the colander. So what I'm doing is, and I'm using the white paper towel to show you the dirt that comes out. When you buy mushrooms.
Can I try that?
Yeah, please. When you buy the mushrooms, what you have is you always have a lot of dirt. If you look in the bottom of a mushroom package, you'll see a lot of dirt and stuff. And people want to go wash the mushrooms. You don't want to do that. You don't want to physically wash them because then you're waterlogging the mushrooms. You're actually messing with the flavor, the texture, and the taste.
I didn't realize you never showed me how to do. I didn't know that you did this.
I'm sorry, babe. There are things that I think about, like part of my process lately as a chef is de-chefing. There's stuff that I do to prep for a meal that I just don't talk about because I do it. So I wanted to show y'all the coolest way. Uh-oh, I had a jumper.
You got a jumper.
He's gone. But that's the coolest way. And you see all of that? And it gets the majority of the dirt right off of your mushrooms. And that allows you to then go and cut and cook and be good.
I have definitely washed mushrooms before.
Yeah, try not to wash them.
It's been bad.
Try not to wash them. And it's not, understand too, dirt is okay. It's not terrible for you. There can be a little bit of dirt on your mushrooms. But that's how you get the big pieces off. By the way, don't stir those veggies. Let them sit there. I'm starting to smell them. They're good. Now we're going to slice our mushrooms and get ready to use them. When you're slicing your mushrooms, okay, I'm using a longer blade because I like to do that. Right? And you can only do that with a longer blade. So, it takes a little bit of time, but and you start throwing mushrooms all over the place. But a little bit of practice, you'll be cutting mushrooms like a pro yourself. And it's just fun.
I think that's why you do it.
Oh, this is definitely why I do it. And I'm going slower because I like y'all and because I don't want to have an accident. And my wife be like, you cut your finger.
On camera.
On camera. Accidents happen. All right, mushrooms are cut.
So you're using baby bella mushrooms? What
Baby
are you using?
Look at that.
Can we use other mushrooms or are baby bellas just the best? I mean, I love baby bellas because I just love the flavor and the texture and everything like that.
You absolutely can use other mushrooms. Baby bellas are the best. I think that these pasta, no, not yet. It's still not cooked yet. Let me show you what I mean, right? I'm gonna grab a couple. By the way, this is boiling hot water, so it is hot. This is why I'm struggling over here. Because it is hot, so you don't want to do this too much, y'all. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. This is the educational piece of our demo. Look at these pastas, right? So look at them side by side. This is the raw pasta that's kind of cooked, raw cooked. So you can see that they have both expanded and they're getting hydrated and they're almost done, but they are not done yet. This is side by side, right?
You can kind of still see the starchy.
You still see
like on the ends of the.
Yeah, still very tough. Not done. So you gotta cook it till it's al dente. You gotta let it cook till it's done, which takes a few more minutes, probably about 7 or 8 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna stir, but I also have to start cooking my meat in order to stay on time. I will show you, I got some lovely char on these vegetables. That char's flavor, that's what you wanted. We can pull this bad boy off, even though the veggies aren't fully cooked, that is okay. Can anybody tell me why it's okay?
Because you're gonna cook it more with the turkey.
Well, because I still want some more texture.
Oh, you want to keep the crunch.
Yes. So I don't have carrots or water chestnuts, so I want to keep the crunch. So we're gonna let that do a little bit more, and we're gonna switch over. Now the mushrooms, I purposely didn't put into the veggie mixture. Okay, mushrooms, if you are gonna put them into a veggie mixture, you want to put your mushrooms in last, but you don't want to put them in too early so they don't get mushy. However, in this case, because I've got ground turkey, which doesn't taste as meaty as beef, adding the mushrooms in gives it a much meatier flavor. So that's a trick that I've learned. Once again, I'm preheating my skillet and we're gonna put the mushrooms with our turkey and we're gonna let that cook. And as that cooks, we're gonna go back to our pasta and get on our sauce. And then guess what's next?
Eating.
Filling my belly. I'm here for that.
Massively important.
Massively important. And I get to feed you.
Yay, which I'm excited about.
She didn't mention, but this is her birthday and I love her so very much. Happy birthday. She wanted to be out on the water fishing, but we have 2 demos today, so we can't do that. But, just saying, there might be a boat and some water fishing in your future. Just because.
Thank you.
Because.
Thank you, babe.
All right, pasta, looking good. All right, pasta's almost done. We're gonna pull it out when it's al dente. I'll show you how to do that. This skillet is getting hot, preheating. We're going to use actual oil on this one, so just watch as we go, okay? All right, so put a little bit. I'm getting my smoking hot. Now I'm gonna put my oil in. I use a squeeze bottle, and I just make a little checkerboard pattern, so forward and then back. Don't use too much, but it works. I'm going to throw in my mushrooms. Thank you, flexible cutting board. Once again, I hear a sizzle. That means my skillet was hot enough. That's what we want. I'm actually gonna come over here as well, and I'm going to just steal some of those diced onions, right? Some of this char, get some of that flavor in there. Hey, by the way, this just came off the stove. It is hot.
Use a spoon.
Use a spoon, okay? And we just stole a couple. We can steal a couple more. We can get in there. Why? Because that's just gonna be flavor. You're gonna mix it all together anyway, but it's gonna be flavor. I cook these separate, and we normally talk about this. You normally make me bring this up. I'm putting southern fried chicken on this one.
Yes, my favorite.
This is your favorite. I'm just pinching it out right here.
And they can do the same thing with their seasonings, right? They can.
Yeah, this one is harder to duplicate because there's them 13 herbs and spices. It's a little bit more than that on there. But that's a southern fried chicken. And then our turkey is gonna go right on top, right? So
Awesome.
we're gonna put that on. Do not break up your turkey. Give me that.
If you don't remember anything else.
Do not break up your turkey. Just put it on top. And because we just worked with raw, we're going to deglove. Take off the top layer of each glove. At home, this would be the time where you go and wash your hands. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more seasoning to my turkey, right? And I'm using the pinch method, but the wind is trying to blow the seasoning away from me. That's why I'm getting so low. Normally, I always recommend seasoning on from high, so you get that. So you actually get the right amount of seasoning in there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's work with this pasta. This pasta here, see how much bigger it is? That's al dente. Okay, that's the good stuff. Let's put this here, right? I'm just using a bowl. We're gonna let it cool. There are faster ways to do this. However, I like doing things
Your own way.
Take my time. I'm working with you. This is family right here. Hey, babe, our resident bee is back.
Really?
In our kitchen studio, we apparently have a resident bee.
Yes.
He comes to visit
Okay.
every demo. Kind of his thing. No, leave him alone. Leave him alone. That's our resident bee. He's going for a place in the family. These are the things. Okay. All right. I think I've gotten most of it out. By the way, can you show? I know I'm asking you to do a lot, but can you show how cloudy that water is? I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
That's starchy water. That is all the starch that came from pasta. That water is absolutely fantastic as a thickening agent for sauces, for stews, for other stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Save that water. You don't necessarily need it for this demo, but you can always use that. You make a sauce right afterwards. Now my mushrooms are starting to char a little bit. So I'm not breaking this up. I'm just stirring it a little bit. I want it to cook. I want the bottom of that meat to get a little toughness. Come back to our veggies, to our pasta. Whenever pasta comes out, you want to do two things. If you're not going to eat it immediately. If you're not going to eat it immediately, you get a colander, which is a strainer. This is the same item I use for the mushrooms. You would get a colander and you would pour cold water over it, okay? That's gonna stop the cooking process because as you see, it's still steaming. So if it's still steaming, it's still cooking. Right now, I pulled it out early because it's still cooking, because I'm not gonna shock it. So it's still a little tough. It's a little firm, but it's gonna continue to cook. I knew what I was doing on that. At home, cook it a little softer and then shock it. It'll be perfect. especially if you're not eating it right away. Because we are going to eat this. After you shock it, you want to add a little extra virgin olive oil. Just a little bit, right? Now remember, I said extra virgin olive oil is not good for cooking, but it's surely good for some other things. Okay, and we're gonna put a little seasoning on that. You know what? I'm gonna make this match with with my veggies, so I'm gonna add a little steak seasoning to this, right? Because your pasta should have flavor as well. Your pasta should be standalone, meaning you should not be getting all of your flavor from your meat or your veggies. There should be some flavor on the pasta too. Give it some love, man. Give it some love. All right. Pasta, pasta, pasta. I'm gonna give it one more seasoning. I'm gonna stir it. Then we're gonna come back to our meat, and then we're on to our sauce, and it is time to eat. I'm using small pinches here. Believe it or not, when Grandma used to say a pinch, she was smart. Why? Because a pinch is actually so much less seasoning than using the teaspoon or tablespoon method that we use in our recipes.
And then folks use teaspoon or tablespoon, and because you have it in a spoon, when you're shaking, you pretty much get your seasoning all in one place. And so then when you're trying to get the flavor all the way through, you're not able to. So then what do? You add more seasoning.
And that's not what we want to do. So try to use management techniques. So this is done. This is ready. Move that forward. It's time to stir this and get going. However, because this is a meat, we're going to need to add a little more oil. Just come back across, right? Now we break up our turkey. Just a little bit. Thank you. Put that over. The reason why you don't break up your turkey in the beginning is because ground turkey has a habit of just getting mushy and it gets lost. It's not like beef. Beef, you grind it up and it's ground and it's good. Turkey gets mushy and it can get lost. So by cooking it, you get a chance to start getting, like, you see this little burnt piece right here? That's what you want. It's solid, it's firm, there's texture. That's what we need. You get that when you cook it. So even though I broke it up, I still didn't crumble it yet. I just broke it up enough for this to cook. We're gonna let that work. All right, I'm gonna move this to the back eye so I can make my sauce in the front eye so our timing is good. At home, you have 4 eyes. In the lovely kitchen studio, I've got 2 eyes. So I gotta work a little bit differently. I gotta, play musical chairs or musical pots on this one. Okay. Super simple sauce. Set your stove to medium. Gonna use another sauce pot. You've got 3 ingredients. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay? 3 ingredients, really, really easy. I use a wooden spoon. I just like wood for this. You don't have to. It's just my thing, right? We're going to start with extra virgin olive oil. And I know I always say don't cook it. That's why we're doing medium heat. You can actually do this on low heat or low medium because the heat is only used to pull the sauce together. Okay, so put maybe a 1/4 cup low sodium soy sauce. So remember, a lot of Asian sauces, they're going to use soy sauce, but using high sodium. You use low sodium, you still get the flavor, but a lot less of the sodium. Put that in there. You hear a little bit of sizzle, right? And that is even less than a 1/4 cup. That's about 1/8 of a cup, or about two, maybe 2.5 teaspoons. Honey, this is what we're going to use a lot of. We're going to use about a 1/4 cup of honey too, so about here, okay? And this is raw honey. You can use any kind of honey you like. I just like the flavor of raw honey. Quick, interesting fact. Honey is both a preservative, right? It's a natural preservative, and it does not spoil. However, it does pour extremely slowly. You see that, right?
Cute little drizzle.
It's messing with me today because I want it to come out. So the honey, the oil, all of this, our goal with the heat is to stir it up. Oh, I got to give a little bit more, babe, because it's not coming out the way I want it. And we're good to go. Okay.
I love honey.
Yeah. Now, like I said, the heat is just to bring it together. And someone has to invent, I guess they do have glass bottom cooking pots. We need a glass stock pot so we can show these sauces. Especially this is a dark sauce, so it's hard to see. But you know what I can do to make it seem better? I'll put something green in there, right? I lifted it up because I don't necessarily want it to boil. The parsley doesn't really change the flavor, but it just allows you to see the sauce. All we're doing is a little bit of heat, stirs it, it brings it together, it combines it. So it's our emulsifier. You don't need a lot of sauce here, but I promise you that flavor is phenomenal. And you see how quick that was? That's the quickest sauce. And trust me when I tell you, you will be like, yo, chef, appreciate you, fam. That's the love sign. When you get the double pat on the chest, respect and love right there. Respect and love.
So I've been on this like lemon kick for some reason.
You want to add some lemon to it.
What would happen if I added lemon or orange?
Nothing.
I know you've added orange.
I add orange to it all day. The citrus.
Yeah, I know you've done that
I'd
before.
add pineapple. I'd add those. Lemon's gonna be great. It's just gonna change the flavor. There's nothing in there to spoil.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back and stir my beef.
Ooh, can I show what a beautiful like crust that turkey has?
Yeah. It's getting ready, man. This is those colors. Like I said, the mushroom make it taste more meatier. Instead of more meaty. So when I'm making like my turkey lasagna, I use a lot of mushrooms and onions in there with the ground turkey. And people always like, oh my gosh, is that beef? Nope. No, sir. No, sir. Let's put this back on to this one, turn it back on high, and I want to finish that up so we can plate. Now, we had to do a bunch in this one, so we didn't really pause for questions. So I would like to know if anybody has any questions for me. And I'm sorry I keep putting my back to the camera. I just have to balance things here. This is metal. Does anybody have any questions for me as we finish up this amazing demo here and I start putting some stuff back and we get ready to plate? All right. That is my thing. You always got to give some time. Okay.
And then if you are watching this as a recording, we always say that if you do have questions when you're watching this, email us at chefculture, that's Kulture. Email us at chefculture@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we would be more than happy to answer your questions, either about this demo or just a question that you have, any of our demos, or a question that you have for chef, a culinary question, that kind of thing. Yeah, feel free to email us, chefculture@gmail.com.
Now for my favorite part. See this here? This is the last ingredient that you didn't see me use.
Living lettuce.
Butter me up. Yeah.
Butter
Living
me up.
lettuce. You notice it still has the roots.
Which is why it's called living lettuce. You could actually just drop it in water, and your lettuce is going to keep growing. I love it. This is actually my favorite lettuce. It says butter me up, but it actually says butter me up because it tastes like butter.
Yeah, they call it butter lettuce. Most phenomenal lettuce ever, right? We're going to make 5 cups here, but I need to do my presentation. I don't know how that goes. So let's go ahead and let's frame it, right? So it's like photography, right? You want to frame your dish. Let's frame it.
I love that.
We're just going to go ahead and just put these right on.
You know what I would want? Some like, our son's not going to eat red pepper flakes, so I'm not gonna do it. But like maybe some paprika or something to sprinkle on the
to give it that
little pop of like red, that little bright red.
It would be very pretty. That would be phenomenal. I'm with you there. And you do want to do that, which is why we use.
Well, I was gonna say red pepper flakes, but if we put like anything spicy, he's just not gonna eat it.
He's just going to refuse.
He is going to refuse.
That's what our little guy does sometimes. We're working on his spice tolerance. Like, dude, you can't be in a Caribbean family and not be able to handle spice, man.
Because
there's some kind of rule against that.
He can't tolerate it at all. It's hilarious.
No.
I love how well done you did the turkey. So in our family, like we like our food like really cooked. right? So like if he's doing like chicken or something like that, I will always leave my chicken in extra, just a little bit extra. I mean, not chicken breast because then it dries out, but like dark meat, I will always leave it in just a little bit longer because I like my food like that. And my ground turkey, same way, because I love like the texture and the flavor that comes along with like that little bit of extra char.
And look at the color. It's dark, it's vibrant. This is what we want.
Very pretty.
Very pretty. I like it. I like it. And I'm just pulling up my lettuce cups, right? Because you're going to eat these like a taco. So we're going to pick those up. Those are going to be good. Now,
Veggies.
Put your veggies in there. All right, let's make sure we've got some green on every one. We like that. And what's my last thing I'm going to add to this, babe?
The sauce.
I keep her around for a reason, y'all. She know my life. Go ahead and wipe off my hand. This has a lot of pasta on it. I'm just going to wipe it off.
Should I get some paprika to show like what that pop of red does?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Grab some. I got some right there with the seasonings.
All right.
While I drizzle my sauce. And I'm just stirring it. This sauce will come out of solution very, very easily. So sometimes you just got to stir it up. Just take a little bit here. Right? Look at how beautiful that is. Wow. We're just going to put a little bit of that sauce right there, right? Just a little bit. Oh my gosh. I'm right where I need to be today, y'all. Y'all don't know. I'm right where I need to be. This is the work, the excitement. All right, so just a little bit of sauce right on top. Let's go ahead and let's hit that with, now we're just decorating now. So a little parsley on pasta. Y'all know my philosophy. You're gonna smell it, then you're gonna see it, then you're gonna taste it. So as my wife goes and grabs that paprika, that's why it's important, because you want to have all of those things match up. So you want the smell. Now we need the visual. Now we get the taste. Just sprinkle just a little bit. Oh,
I'm sorry. My bad. Did I bring the wrong one?
No.
It's fine. I love paprika.
This is why we use the pinch method. Because who puts holes that big on the paprika? Okay.
I love it. Very
This is how you know this is real life cooking, because things happen. I done messed up my plate, picture, my garnish, my presentation, my situation over here. Well, I got
you complaining?
Okay, yeah. Because I had a beautiful. Got a paprika out over here. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. At the end of the day, and I got paprika on my fingers. I am just being that guy. But this is beautiful. This is light. This is lunch. It is cheap. It's quick, and we love it. It's healthy. This is what we do. Asian turkey lettuce wraps all day, family. I love it, y'all. I'm ready to grow.
Yep, definitely ready. One last question, Chef. Could we do this with seafood?
You know it.
Like what?
No.
Shrimp?
Shrimp and scallops. Get some baby scallops and some small shrimp, right? The small, I know we like big shrimp, but it doesn't need to be bite-sized. Some baby scallops and some small shrimp. Ooh, that's why I would add your lemon in.
Okay.
The seafood.
Into the same sauce mixture, though.
So, I would add the lemon on the seafood and then keep the sauce the same.
Okay.
So I'd still have a little hint of it. And I'd probably have some cut limes
yep.
on the side.
Megan said mahi lettuce tacos.
Oh, those are
yeah. Mm-hmm. This would be good. This would be good like that.
And honestly, same principle, right? Same veggies, just different meat substitute.
I love it.
For now.
I love it. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I don't even know where we're at on time. Was I right on time or was I?